Welcome back to the Rodecast, guys. Hope y'all doing well out there. I'm your host, Rod, as always. And in this video, we're going to be looking at another video of the local media trying to make us feel bad for some of the anchor babies that are left behind when their criminal parents who broke into our country are arrested. Specifically, in this video, we're going to be looking at people who were arrested at a criminal bust in Idaho. Okay, so this happened about a week ago. I was going to cover this, but then I had to cover some other stuff and I didn't have time. But there's so many ICE raids happening at this point. You know, who could blame me? I have such limited time to make videos. But nevertheless, I wanted to cover this because this was a place where there was literally illegal gambling going on in Idaho, and the FBI and a whole bunch of other agencies, including ICE, showed up. And of course, the FBI did the criminal arrests of people who were committing other crimes aside from breaking into the country. But ICE was also there to make arrests when it comes to immigration-related issues. I had no idea that there are so many Hispanics in Idaho. That was a surprise. It's always a surprise to me. I can't believe how far these people have spread. But nevertheless, there are, and they're whining about the arrest too after participating in crimes.
Hey, record this. Got the migra here at the horse races. Look at them bitches. Welcome recording. They got the helicopter here. Fucking everything is crazy here.
Well, they have got to have the worst accents in the history of mankind. Okay, at least in my opinion. This is all subjective, but their accents are horrible. They butcher the English language in ways that I can't imagine. Okay, it's just amazing. But anyway, so yeah, a lot of people arrested. This is just some of the footage. It was a long operation by multiple federal agencies, but now we got a station here in Idaho who talked to an anchor baby of one of the people who were arrested for immigration violations. And let's see what they had to say.
ICE raid in Wilder. The aftermath, again, is still being felt across Idaho. For one family in Nampa, what was meant to be a simple Sunday outing turned into fear and chaos. It left them separated from their father, who is now detained by ICE. Our Rodecast spoke with his 19 and 9-year-old children, who say their lives have been turned upside down and that all they want is their dad to come back home.
The family of illegals with 2 illegal parents and two anchor babies. That's another way to say it. Okay, I'm glad they have a blonde white woman as the reporter here. Always an improvement. But I just wish that she would be more accurate in her reporting. Okay, but they never say the word illegal anyways, even though illegal alien is how the federal code defines these people after they break into our country. So, but again, that's why I'm here. That's why I do my videos. That's why you guys watch my videos, because I do the corrections that they won't do.
Detained by ICE. Our Rodecast spoke with his 19 and 9-year-old children, who say their lives have been turned upside down and that all they want is their dad to come back home.
Like, my family's just heartbroken. We miss him.
A week after federal agents raided La Catedral Arena in Wilder, the scene is quiet. Yet for families across Idaho, like one in Nampa, the echoes of that day are still being felt.
My little brother loves horses. He loves horses. He likes seeing them race. We don't go to those events often. We go like once in a while as a family.
But in the matter of seconds, their family moment turned into panic. For 9-year-old Jose, it was a terrifying scene he never imagined.
How did you feel seeing all those officers?
I felt scared. I felt scared because they were pointing the guns at me. And then when they broke the window, I had to jump to my mom's feet. And then when they broke the window, I had glass in my mouth. And then I quickly spit it away.
Their father, Daniel from Nampa, who has lived in the U.S. for 23 years, is undocumented and was taken into ICE.
He's an illegal alien who's invaded our country, our borders, and lived here for 20 years. Okay, most likely siphoning off some government programs, especially when you have a family. 20 years, illegal. At least they admit that part. Some people won't. Okay, in the last video we did about an anchor baby, they didn't even admit that he was illegal. So I appreciate the honesty, at least, on this one. Okay, and as far as the kid goes about his encounter in the car, Your dad committed a grave crime against our country by invading our country and dropping anchors like you. We don't want him here and we don't want you here. Okay, so it's a sad day that your dad had to be arrested in front of you, but that's what happens when criminals commit crimes. The police eventually come for them, and sometimes the family is present when the criminal is arrested. This happens to Americans every day. And it's a sad day for those families as well. But that's what happens when you pal around with criminals in your family. Okay, if I was doing that, I would expect the same result, or at least not be surprised when it happens. So it's a sad day. I feel bad for the anchors because it's not necessarily their fault. Their parents committed a crime and now they're stuck in the middle. Now they have to deal with this stuff. Okay. But I start to lose sympathy when they don't take responsibility or at least admit that their parents did something wrong. That's when I lose sympathy for the anchor babies. You can have sympathy for people and feel bad for them and still want the law to be applied. So we don't have to be heartless towards anybody. I feel bad for a lot of people. That doesn't mean I'm going to let them illegally occupy my country built by my ancestors. Okay, like this is not about hating the individual person, at least for me. Okay, this is about land rights. Okay, whose ancestors built it and who has a right to live in it. Like a house, you can't come into my house and stay forever because this is my house. Same way I can't come to your house and stay forever because you don't want me to. I presume you don't want random people coming to your house, but you guys want to invade into our land and pretend it's no big deal. That's the issue. That's why your daddy has been arrested. I hope I clarified things.
Their father, Daniel from Nampa, who has lived in the U.S. for 23 years, is undocumented and was taken into ICE custody during the raid.
And I seen them dragging my dad out. They grabbed him by his neck. They threw him to the floor.
The confusion was immediate, though, given that national and local officials have long said their focus is on criminal offenders.
Breaking into somebody else's country is a crime, despite the lies of the left. Yeah, their dad did commit a crime, and he might have been involved with other crimes too. I don't know that much. Okay, not everybody who was arrested for immigration crimes was involved in this gambling stuff. Some people were not. You had to look at the specific case. Everybody who was there was not involved in the federal crimes. Only a few people were arrested related to the gambling stuff. That was separate from the immigration arrest, which there had just happened to be a bunch of illegals there, so ICE did their job. Okay, they knew that there would be. Okay, this was a Hispanic-run gambling ring, and all the people who were arrested who were committed other crimes by the FBI, they arrested a bunch of Hispanics.
But does your dad have a criminal record?
He doesn't have a criminal record or anything. He's not a bad person.
But
yeah, see, that answer does not instill hope in me. Okay, there was a significant pause there. And that probably means that that's not 100% true. Okay. And he might have had an order of removal if he broke in a second time. Okay. And that in that case, he would be a literal felon because re-entry by an alien is a felony. Okay. The first time you cross over, it's a federal civil violation. That's why we give you an immigration hearing before we ship you out. The second time, after you've been ordered removed, you break back into the country. That's a federal crime. That's a literal crime like a felony. That's felony re-entry. I don't know the specific case, so I can't say, but a lot of the people who are arrested by ICE are people who have removal orders against them and or have been removed and broke back in, which means they're felons. Okay, so I don't know what her dad's situation is, but that answer does not inspire confidence. Okay, that pause there about how he's not a criminal, that might have been just her being nervous, or maybe her dad is not so clean. Okay, but again, I don't know. You'd have to look at the criminal record of the specific person in question.
Does your dad have a criminal record?
He doesn't have a criminal record or anything. He's not a bad person.
A person who thinks that they can invade another person's country, my country, George Washington's country, and face no consequences and has stayed here for 23 years, breaking our law, invading my land, that person is a bad person, actually. Your dad is a bad person. Your dad is a bad person. Whether he has a criminal record or not, he's a bad person. Anybody who breaks into somebody else's house and stays there for 23 years is a horrible person. So make no mistake, your daddy is a bad person. Okay, and again, I feel bad for these kids because they didn't control the initial crime of breaking into the country. They were born afterward. But now she's old enough to understand that her dad did something wrong, but she doesn't think it's a big deal to breaking into somebody else's country. Okay, and that's where I have a problem with the anchor babies.
He's not a bad person.
But at that moment, she felt that he and many others were being treated as criminals.
The way that it happened, it's like, why? Why? And like, how could they be so cruel? How they're treating.
How could you be so cruel? How could your dad be so cruel to think that he can invade someone else's country, a country built by Northern Europeans, who he is not in any way, shape, or form, and break into our country and stay here as if he's invited, as if he's wanted? He was never invited and he's not wanted. But how could he be so cruel to use up our resources to take up a house? These guys have a house, which means they stole a house away from an American family in Idaho who could have owned that real estate. How could you be so cruel as to presume that we want you here after you forcibly penetrate our country and violate our federal laws and you think you did nothing wrong? You're the one who's being cruel. We are enforcing our law by removing you.
Us, our community, and it's...
Your community belongs back in Mexico. This is an Anglo-Saxon country for Northern Europeans. You don't belong here. You have a country, it's called Mexico, and on the rest of Latin America. You'll be welcome in those countries, I think. Okay, try those countries. Here, you're not welcome.
And like, how could they be so cruel? How they're treating us, our community, and it's just things that I feel like no one should ever go through.
Since then, life has been anything.
Yeah, well, I hope you learned a lesson. You don't have to go through any of this if you don't violate our laws and break into other people's countries. When you do, you're going to have to go through this stuff. But you can go back with your dad. Nobody's stopping you. Okay. And by the way, she was born here. Why the hell does she have a horrible accent? Just like the people who weren't even born here. That's my question. They all do. All the anchor babies, all the Hispanic ones always have accents, even if they were born here. It's terrible, man. It's horrible.
¿Ese evento le causó trauma?
La verdad.
Oh yeah, that's not a leading question. This one thinks she's a journalist. Listen to this question. If she's sympathizing with the subject here, or if this is an objective question. Look at the expression on her face while she asked this question.
Life has been anything but normal.
¿Ese evento le causó trauma?
La verdad, sí.
Well, there should be no question that there are no objective journalists in this video. Okay.
But normal.
¿Ese evento le causó trauma?
La verdad, sí. Demasiado. Mi niño en las noches no duerme. Cada rato despierta, me despierta gritándome, mami, mami, ¿qué está pasando? ¿Qué está pasando? Yo le digo, nada, papito, duérmete, no está pasando nada, no dormimos, porque tenemos miedo.
Daniel is
Yeah, you know how you cannot have nightmares when you don't break into other people's houses? That's how when you're not a criminal and the police don't have to come and arrest you, then you can sleep well. Okay. Other than that, I don't feel bad at all for nightmares that your family's having after you broke into ours. So looking at your faces and hearing your languages is a nightmare for me every day. I have to deal with you. Okay. Because you guys have invaded my country built by my ancestors, and you expect me to feel sorry for your nightmares? I don't feel sorry at all. Get out of here. And then you can live peaceably in your own country where nature put you, in your own borders. This country was not built for you. It was not built by your ancestors. So it's not for you to live in. These are very clear ideas that any reasonable, logical person should be able to understand.
currently being detained in an ICE detention center in Nevada, waiting for a hearing.
Our lawyer is saying that they're trying to get him back over here, back to Idaho. But, yeah, we're just fighting his case.
Now their routine looks completely different as they struggle to cover the bills their father once handled.
My sister, she does lashes and photography, and she decided to start a raffle to help towards my dad. And my mom also makes food. She makes tamales, ceviche.
Of course she makes tamales. Of course. What else would she make?
We've been selling.
All while that day keeps repeating in their minds, and every thought leads back to that one thing they desperately want, their father home.
Give my dad back to us.
Why?
Because we all miss him. Now since we don't see him, we're like we all the time that we think about him, we have to cry.
We're trying our best, and we hope and pray that soon he'll be back home with us.
Yeah, keep praying. Maybe Jesus will come and help you. In the real world, your daddy's never coming back. Your dad is a criminal, and he's going to be shipped back to his own country. He's gone, and he's not coming back. Okay, like I said, it's not directly the fault of these kids. Although I don't like the fact that they're not taking any responsibility. They think it's perfectly fine to break into other people's countries. I have a problem with that. But other than that, it's not the kids' fault. It's the illegals' fault. Your dad broke into someone else's country. He committed a grave offense. You don't seem to understand that, these kids. But he did do something wrong. He is a criminal, and he's being punished. So that's called common sense. Lots of American white people and black people are arrested in front of their kids all the time because they committed crimes. It doesn't matter how much, if they're citizens and they're still arrested, because there's consequences for everybody. Donald Trump was charged with many crimes at one point. Joe Biden's son was charged with crimes. Many Americans are arrested all the time. Congress people have been arrested. They've gone to prison. Americans are arrested every day when they commit crimes. So don't be surprised that your illegal dad who broke into our country was arrested. It's a normal occurrence. And it's a sad day for the family. I get it. But there's something wrong that's been done, and it's being corrected by the federal police. That's what's happening to your family right now. And your dad is gone. Don't even pretend for a second he's coming back. He's not coming back. He's going back to his country. And that's all I got to say for this video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I'll see you guys in my next one.